Moto number 3. This is Moto 1 on the KTM. Out here at the new and improved Renlow Park. When I say new and improved, you will see it looks a lot different. There's a lot of the same, but there's a lot of different stuff out here. And as you can tell by all the green grass there, they were trying to break in some new sections. They have some old sections already into it, and you're going to notice when we get out here a little bit further, it gets a little dusty at first. They put some sawdust down, and then it gets to be really good. These guys just did an amazing job out here trying to keep the track dust down. All I can say, it was a great Saturday. The weather was perfect, and I think you're gonna see and like the new changes out here, and I think it's gonna really help out their membership. That's for sure. So, pretty sure this is Mr. Fetzer up in front of me on that 4-stroke Honda. And as you can tell, we have got the 40 plus, 50 plus intermediate guys, 60 plus intermediate guys, myself out there. We got some 4-stroke classes in this one as well. I pretty much had to roll these new tabletops they put in this first lap because I just couldn't see. A little bit later on, and I think before the second moto, you're going to notice that they went ahead and they put some sawdust and mulch on the approaches of those, which made it a lot easier to see. But we are tearing the ground up right now. They closed off the inside lines of the track whenever we were breaking it in to try to get a double groove going, and I think it helped. And I also think that if you were smart, you were not following people and you were trying to use some of those grooves for the passes, because this track was fast and it was, in my opinion, kind of hard to pass, but it was strictly because you weren't looking for other lines. I noticed a lot of guys were playing follow the leader, and you just can't do it on a track like this. And the best person to kind of drive that home is Mason Grove. If you'd have watched him today out there, I have a little clip of him at the end of this video. You'll have to check it out. He goes down in some heavy loamy dirt and gets back up, kicks that thing, gets it revived, and then gets himself all the way up to Anthony Lowry in first place, and he takes second place in that moto. But to go from last to first in that expert line was a heck of a feat. And you'll notice he does not follow anybody. He's always out there searching for a new line and just looking good out there. As you can tell, starting to hit these tabletops with a little bit more speed. They sent you up, they sent you out. And I think that's the thing that people are going to really like about this track, is that there's no open doubles. So it's going to be a safer track all in all. As long as the dust stays down, guys can see where they're going. They're not going to land on top of each other. They're not going to land in the middle anywhere to get hurt. Let me see if I can figure out who I got in front of me here. It looks like Jay Ryan on that white Yamaha. And I got Jay Snyder up in front of him. We are into the third lap here already. And this area right in here, they watered it partway through, and boy, did it ever get slick. It had a little blue groove actually going on in there. I had a much better day, and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about on the KTM. I enjoyed the ride out here. Very much so, riding with these guys. A lot of guys I haven't rode with this year. So it got to be, it was nice seeing new faces and new people to run with. I could definitely have used a better start, that's for sure. I didn't have anybody in my class, which I really wish I would have. It made it a lot easier, but there's a lot of times where I don't push the envelope too much on the KTM just for that reason, not trying to mess anybody else up. But it's still fun out here mixing it up with these guys for sure. Hanging back a little bit so I can see half decent. And that was the trick right there, folks. Just hit her hard enough to land it. I like cutting that corner right there short because I went outside a few times and the dirt was deep and heavy. And it would kind of suck you up. Back down into these short chicanes. Coming past the crowd, everybody was cheering everybody else on. You can see we got a good crowd of campers out there. I got Billy Bush up there. I can't see who is in the lead of this freight train, but we have got to start making some moves. This is the last lap. Heading into this nice little short tabletop. We're going to land that smooth. Try to hug this inside, take her out. And if you're going to make a move, it's time to start making some moves. I'm going to get a twofer on that one for the time being. Little 363 has got another thing coming. Love racing Billy Bush up there and thinking I got something for him, but Mr. Ryan is keep me honest for sure. Half a lap to go. Heading back toward the new jumps. Thinking I might try to get something right here, and does not happen. Them guys were hitting everything just as hard as I was, and like I said, kind of had to push it a little bit here sometimes if you really wanted to get that, you know, get up beside somebody. That 363 was showing me how to do it on the outside, and I should have did that right there with him. Well, I think that's the way she's going to end up there, folks, in that first moto. Jump into the Husky here directly. Here we go. Got the Husky 390 on the line, waiting for the gum band to get pulled, and she's about ready to go. Little old Fred Handel there. He gets himself a nice wheelie. I got Craig on my left, and I got Brian Eichelberger out there just letting that thing hang out. He was the class of the field for sure. Old Jay Ryan was right on his tail though, and you're not gonna get around old Brian Eichelberger very easy. Let me tell you, that Suzuki has got a mind of its own, and that thing was ripping. I am gonna get out here. I'm gonna tuck it right in front of Craig. And this is going to be a shortened race because it kind of gets a little boring in the middle, so I'll save you the time and trouble of watching these guys pull away. There's old Joey Spade. He tucks that right arm in and gives himself a little more clearance on that old XR200, and he has got that thing just cruising. He's trying to get up there and give old Ryan a run for his money. Now, the old 390, it definitely felt a lot different hitting these tabletops. Made for some really cool pictures, but it felt like a lead balloon coming out of the sky. That is for darn sure. And one thing I noticed right off the bat, I was reaching for brakes that I didn't have. I had to tighten things up a little bit because the track was fast enough that I was coming screaming into these turns, and I didn't notice it in practice for whatever reason, but maybe I did. I just forgot to adjust it because I was kind of like switching back and forth between my bikes. And yeah, I had to come back in and tighten things up a little bit. But these guys, they kind of stretch it out here. You're going to see the green flag. And then right about here, I turn around and look. We are on the last lap right now. And I see Craig. He is breathing down my neck on that Kawasaki. And he's in the back of my mind. I can tell you that for sure. But I want this moto. He's in my class. Me, him, and Eichelberger are all together. And you're going to see what happens here, and it ain't pretty, I'll tell you that. I need to not look back. Don't worry about where the heck he's at. Because I should have tucked this corner in here. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Right in here. Out in that loose, heavy stuff, and I didn't pull the clutch in fast enough, and there goes Craig, and that's the end of my first moto with the Husky. Last place. So let's get started on the KTM again. The boards are up. Signs turned. Going sideways. And we get a good start out there, that's for sure. I'm going to say a good start is relative, but I mean, everybody's tight. Made for some really good racing out here. Old 722, old Scott Treaster, he was parked nearby. Heck of a nice guy. I got a chance to talk to him, and it was a blast out here racing him. That is for sure. You can tell guys were blowing their ribbons every once in a while when things got a little bit too congested out there. But as you see, this is in between the first and second moto, and they laid down some water, they laid down some mulch. And even as heavy as the traffic is, there's some dusty spots, but for the most part, it is not bad at all out there. You can see the race, and you can see your lines, you can hit those berms, even though the berms weren't holding up real well, that's for darn sure. No fault of the track crew, just how things get out there sometimes. You gotta be able to adjust. One thing I was experimenting around with this weekend was I was experimenting around with a little bit higher air pressure than what I like to run. But I guess it's from doing all the woods riding. I was running a lot lower air pressure, single digits and stuff. And I thought I was going to try a higher air pressure, and I really enjoyed running the higher air pressure on the motocross, that's for sure. I was running 12 and 15 pounds. And it seemed to work on both bikes really well. I went a little bit lower on the Huskies because it's got a fatter rear tire on it. But all in all, I'm going to say that's probably where I'm going to be sitting at on the next motocross race, that's for sure. Had the front end shocks. I had to change oil in them in the Husky, and in between races here, had virtually no oil left in the one leg, and a little bit in the next leg. I tell you what, did you see me touch that guy's rear tire? I'm not sure if I'm just not reacting fast enough to them slowing down, or if I'm just tucked in there too tight, or if I should be on the outside trying to make that pass. I'm not 100%, but it got me in trouble a couple of times on the KTM. I'm pretty sure in this lap you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. This was a fast moto, let me tell you. This is I think I am the only expert out there, along with the 40, 50, and 60 group intermediates, how they had us mixed up into motos, and it's just a label, folks, I'm telling you, because everybody was about the same speed, mixing it up. Right there, I bump his rear tire again, and it just Throws the balance off on my bike a little bit. I'm able to get up and get going, but oh, that was a rough one to take. Pretty sure I can catch back up to these guys, though. I got it in my head. I got a decent setup underneath me, and I think I got a lap to go here. Maybe 2. Now, if y'all stick around, oh, I got old Billy Bush. I know that yellow stripe across his back real well. This ought to be good catching back up to these guys, and Mr. Bush is right up there in front of me. I had nothing for him in the first moto, and I think that's Mr. Fetzer in front of him, and probably 722 Mr. Treester in front of him. So I remember this gets to be hot and heavy here toward the ending laps of this moto. What do you do, folks, whenever you get out there and you start hitting them outside lines and you feel like you're losing traction and losing real estate on the track? Do you still stick with those kind of things, or do you try to come up with something better? Trying to give Billy a little bit of room there. Give him that inside line. This old 4-stroke up in front of me has got it going on. He could just blip that throttle and he's gone. See old Brian and John Ashcraft out there once in a while on these old 400s and stuff like that. He once by Treester in a bad way. Now I'm going to try this outside line because that inside line was getting to be really slick. I'm able to get by Treester, and I watched Brian Eichelberger swing it real wide right there and then duck in, and it seemed to work good. I think he was catching fresh grass out there for traction. I'm going to grab an inside line there, and coming up here side by side though, I felt better every lap. I don't know if I was just getting used to the track or what, but I definitely was feeling faster every lap I was out here. I'm not sure if I can catch any more of these guys or not. We're going to do what we can do, though. And we'll have one short race left after this, and then a little bit of footage of Mason out there on his one moto. The kid is either 13 or 14 years old, and one of the juniors that's coming up through, racing everybody respectively, gaining a lot of respect in the process. I just thought I'd include it in there because he did a really good job. That's going to be the end of the KTM. We're going to fire the Husky up for one more short moto, and you'll see why here in just 1 second. I'm going to wheelie off his start Everybody else is going to go out there. I got Claudia off to my right, Joey up there, and this young man up in front of me in yellow. I think he hits the post. I'm not sure, but I end up running right up over top of him, trying to get the bike back off of him.
My foot's stuck in the wheel. Got it? Yep. Okay. Thank you. No problem.
And I don't care who you are going to stop and do that in this league. That's just what we do. That was the end of my moto for the Husky, and it was fine. Them guys, Craig got second place, Brian Eichelberger got first, and that's going to be the end of it for me. So enjoy this. I'm not going to talk in Mason's video there because that little Honda is just ripping out there. Hope you enjoyed the footage, and I hope we'll see y'all here in White Rose. Get them Halloween costumes ready, and we'll see you down there in a couple weeks. Adios, everybody.